I've already said this, that what is the jiva? It is this physical body, in which is the subtle body and causal body, and in reality of pure consciousness. Pure consciousness plus causal body, subtle body, physical body, this bundle is called a jiva. More specifically, if you want to get technical about it, you have to leave the physical body out of it because physical bodies come and go. So the jiva is pure consciousness plus causal body and subtle body, and it inhabits various physical bodies. This is the jiva. The unenlightened jiva does not know its pure consciousness. It just thinks of itself as this body. The unenlightened jiva. The enlightened one knows that I am, or has realized it's absolutely clear, I am pure consciousness. I am Atman, Brahman. And this causal body, subtle body, physical body, and the universe, they continue as appearances for the enlightened one. For the enlightened one, the veiling power is gone. It doesn't work on the enlightened one anymore. Even the projecting power, it continues to project the universe in this way, but it's no longer real for the enlightened one. It's an appearance. What's real? Brahman is real. For the unenlightened one, Brahman is not a factor at all. We don't know. We may even read about it, but it doesn't seem real to us. It's theoretical for us. And for us, this is real. And what are we? This much. That's the jiva. Does the cactus have a jiva? Of course. It's like saying, does this body have a jiva? Yes. If you consider the cactus to be a living being, the very word living being includes prana. Prana means living. Prana is there, the subtle body is there. Subtle body is there means some jiva is having a cactus experience. I like this idea that we think of ourselves as human beings trying to have a spiritual experience. The truth is, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. What is the spiritual being? Actually, it's a jiva itself. It's having a human experience in the human body. It will have a jiva experience, it will have a cactus experience in the cactus body. Don't go to a cactus body, not recommended. Human body is upscale. Yes. Alright. Let's do a peace chant and begin this session. What we'll do is, let's go ahead with the text. If you want clarifications about this, there's not enough time to answer all the questions. So many questions can be raised and answered with this diagram. So I recommend Vedanta Sara. That's another of these introductory texts. It was written about 600 years ago by a master called Sadananda Yogendra, monk. And that's used as an introductory text to teach Vedanta to newcomers. As brahmacharis, monastic novices, we started our study of Vedanta with the Vedanta Sara. That defines this. Every item is defined clearly. What are bodies? What are minds? What's the subtle body? What's the annamaya, the food sheet, the physical, the mental sheet, the intellect sheet? What is prana? What is intellect? What is ignorance or causal body? All of these are well defined, and the whole structure is delineated for you. So many questions will be answered if you read the Vedanta Sara. I have given a series of, I don't know how many talks, 50 plus talks. 37 talks on the Vedanta Sara, and they are freely available on YouTube, and the book is inexpensive. You can always get it from Amazon. I think it must be $5 or $6 or something like that. And then sit with the book and listen to the talks. It will give you a fine idea of the whole range of Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta. Okay. Now we will proceed with the text, but we will use this. Yes?
Do you think you could have another session in the afternoon instead of the day?
No, we'll take the evening session, 5 o'clock. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, leaders from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness unto light, lead us from death to immortality. See how these things can also be explained with the diagram. Lead us from the unreal to the real. Where are we? Unreal. What's the real? Yes. Where is it? Here. When is it? Now. What is it? You. Lead us from darkness unto light. What is darkness? Ignorance and its products. And being enmeshed in them, this samsara we are inhabiting. Going from body to body, lifetime to lifetime. Struggling. This is darkness. Lead us from death to immortality. What is death? Being identified with the body which is bound to that. And then you will get another body which is bound to that. The Upanishad says, the one who sees many here, who sees many here, he sees this is all different. We are seeing many. The cactus is different from me, and the mountains are different from the cactus, and my thoughts are different from each other, and so on. Who sees many here, that one goes from death to death. Mrityu sa mrityu mapnoti. The one who sees oneness here attains immortality. Go from death to immortality means instead of seeing ourselves as this, you realize yourself as this. This is immortality. And how is all this accomplished? How do you go from the unreal to the real? How do you go from darkness to light? How do you go from death to immortality? Knowledge. Yeah. So this is what is going on here. Alright. Now, he has said, Nadevo, you're not the body. Here. We think we are this. He says, Nadeva, you are not the body. Na Indriyam, you are not the senses. The physical senses are here, and the powers of the senses are in the subtle body. It's like the camera and the speaker and all in your laptop, but the software which runs all of that is in the subtle body, in the programming. Then, Na Prana, I am not the prana. Na Mano, I am not the mind. Not here, not he, I am not the intellect. What has he said? I am not Annamaya, the food sheet. I am not Pranamaya, the vital sheath. I am not Manomaya, the mind sheath. I am not Vijnanamaya, the intellect sheath. And then he has not mentioned the causal body, Anandamaya, but you have to add it here, count it. Because it generally slips our notice. So it's the root of all of this. I am not any of these three bodies. Three bodies means physical body, subtle body, causal body. I am not any of the five sheets, Panchakosha. Panchakosha Vilakshana Atma. I am the consciousness, the Atman, distinct from the five sheets. Shariratraya Vilakshana Atma. I am distinct, I am the consciousness distinct from the three bodies. This is what he is saying here. Why am I distinct from these bodies? Arguments. He will give two arguments, but he will run you through the standard arguments you find in Advaita Vedanta. He is a poet, so he presents those standard arguments in his own cute way. He will do that. But the usual arguments are this. Body is continuously changing, physical body. Continuously changing. I see myself as unchanging. I am not going to develop these arguments. I have done it on many occasions, because we have no time for that. I'll just indicate the arguments and leave it at that. The physical body undergoes so many changes. Traditionally, we speak of 6 changes, Shadvikara. It comes into existence, that is conception. It is born, Jayate, birth, physical birth. It grows, Vardhate. Then it attains maturity, Viparinamate. Then it begins to deteriorate, post-40. Bad news. And nowadays maybe with good maintenance post-50. But still, it will be downhill. So, yeah, what you didn't take any effort when you were 21, will take a lot of effort. It will still be available to you, that level of energy and health. It will take a lot of maintenance when you are 51. And will be impossible almost when you are 71 or 81. So, our senior most member, Bill Conrad, he says, old age is not for sissies. He's quoting Betty Davis. Old age is not for sissies. Here's a nice comeback to all my Vedantic arguments. I said, somebody said, the faculties are deteriorating, memory, intellect. He said, I can't, my mind doesn't work so well, I don't remember so well. He's 99. I say, you are the witness of the short memory and you are the witness of the deteriorating, fading memory. You are fine. And his answer was, small comfort, Swami, small comfort. So it is changing continuously. Old age, and finally the last change will come, Nashyati, die. 6 changes. The Sanskrit terms are Asti, Jayate, Vardhate, Viparinavate, Apakshiyate, Nashyati. So the 6 changes apply to the body. But I am the same one. I am this constant there. So I am unchanging, the body is ever changing. How can unchanging and changing be exactly the same thing? They can't be. It's contradictory. Then second, the body is something that is observed, experienced. It is seen, and I am the experiencer. Seer and seen are always different. I, the experiencer of the body, cannot be the body. Then the third argument, the body is something that I am aware of. I am aware, I am consciousness, the body is not conscious. Chetana, conscious and not conscious. Therefore I cannot, because conscious and not conscious cannot literally be the same thing. One more argument. The body is many constituted, it's a compound constituted of many things. Cells, organs, tissues, always in constant when the process is going on. I am one. So who told you you are one? Don't we feel that we are one? Do you ever feel you are a committee? No, you are one. Even a person with a multiple personality disorder always will feel, I am this one right now. There may be someone more some later, but all the time I feel a unity. I don't feel that the one who drank the bottle of water and the one who is listening to this talk are two different. I feel I am the same one. I recognize myself as continuing as a one. So I am one, the body is many. That which is one and that which is many cannot be the same thing. Many such arguments. Another one, Pratyat Parat. This is a nice one. Simple and nice. The body is exterior, I am interior. Notice how we experience ourselves. I always feel I am somewhere in there. If it's somewhere in there, it cannot be this. If it's something in the box, it cannot be the box. I always have a feeling of the self as inert. Where am I? Inert to the body. With respect to the mind, I am even inert to the mind because I experience the mind as that. So think about this. I've given you multiple reasons. What are the reasons? In Sanskrit, savikara and nirvikara, with change and without change. Can't be the same thing. Drashta, drishya, seer and seen cannot be the same thing. Chetana, jada, conscious and not conscious cannot be the same thing. Then ekam, anekam, one and many cannot be the same thing. Pratyat, parat, inner and outer cannot be the same thing. For all these reasons, I am not the body. This is not variable. Now you apply the same things to the mind. You can apply it to the prana, you can apply it to the intellect, you can apply it to the mind, and you will see changing, non-changing, conscious, not conscious, object and seer and the seen, constituted of many components and one. Because of all these reasons, I cannot be the prana, I cannot be the mind, I cannot be the intellect, and even the causal body. Some of those arguments will still apply to the causal body. Therefore, I am the witness of all of these and I am separate from all of them. They are all objects to me. Now what he does is, he uses 2 words, 3 words actually. Mamata panirabdhatva, akridatva, idam dhyaha. Now there are 2 different explanations. You will get one from Tejomanandaji, it gives a direct explanation. Another interesting way it has been explained by the other book, Swami Atmarupanji. I'll give you both. What is he trying to do? He's trying to show us we are none of these. I am something separate from all of these. So what are his arguments? I've given you, I think, 5 arguments just now. But his arguments are slightly different. He has reworked them. One argument is, these are all what we call mind. Can you call it my body? Yes, my body. Can you call it my thoughts, my ideas? Yes, we do. And my sleep, my deep sleep. My sleep was not a little disturbed this last night, if you say. Or my sleep was really good. I slept like a log, I didn't know anything. So my sleep. If you say my, so what? If you say my, that which is my cannot be me. I can say my chair, my cloth, my pen. But can I say my me? No, this is a strange way of speaking. I and mine. So everything I can say mine except I itself. What belongs to me? The body belongs to me, it's mine. The prana belongs to me, the ideas belong to me, the memories belong to me, even deep sleep is mine. But can I say I belong to me? This is a strange way of speaking. So I am different from mine. That's the argument. So when we have the feeling this is mine, you are already saying it's not you. So clearly these are none of us. We are not any of these. That's one argument. Mamata parirabdhatva, because it is enveloped by the feeling of mine. Second argument. Here's where it gets a little tricky. He says, akriratva, because it's the field of action, of sport. You, the sentient being, whatever you are, you play in this arena. In the arena of the body, of the mind and thoughts and memories. This is where you play around. And there, where you play around can't be you. It's the arena of your action. It's the place of your play. Akriratva. It's another meaning. This is Swami Tejomayanji interprets it this way. And a third way of putting it would be idam dhiya. Another argument would be idam dhiya. These are all objects of the description. Idam, this. Anything you can call this isn't you. Can you say this mountain? Can you say this mountain? Then you are not the mountain. So, Swami, I never thought I was a mountain. Okay. Can you say this cactus? Yes. In that case, you are not the cactus. So, Swami, I never thought I was a cactus. Can you say this body? Can you say this body? Yes. In that case, you are not the body. Here is where we start pausing. I see what you mean, but I hesitate. Because our confusion starts here. I'm not confused about the cactus or the mountain, but I'm confused about the body. I sometimes think I am the body, I behave like I am the body. But I can also call it my body, I can call it this body. So this, you are not the body because you say this body. You can logically, it feels right to say this body. Can you say this breath? Can you say that? Then you are not the breath. Can you say this thought, this feeling? Can you say that? Then you are not the feeling of the thought, you are not the mind. Can you say this idea? Yes, you can. This idea I have. This concept. Then you are not the intellect, because this idea, concept, these are all intellect. So none of this, all of this we can call this. So physical body, vital body, the emotional body, mind, mental body, intellect body, causal body also. This ignorance, this darkness of deep sleep. So all of this can be described as idam dhiya, becomes the object of the cognition, this. And therefore it's not me. Whatever you can say, you can say this too, that can't be you. So these are the arguments he has given. Swami Atmarupanji there has done something a little more there. What he has done is, he has tied together these three things. Mamata parirabdhatva, the sense of mind. Akriratva, because of it's a place of play. And this, the cognition, this. He has put them all together, he has strung them together into a new interpretation, which he says is, see, you the consciousness, you are none of these. But playfully, akriratva, out of play, using the sense of mind, you have appropriated the this. What is this? You have taken it to be mine. Why? Playfully. He's a poet. He says consciousness by its play has taken all of this to be mine. But in any case, you are not there because they are. Mine means you are not there. Consciousness is separate from all of that. So these are two interpretations. They all come boil down to the same thing. That I am not the body, not the mind. Now we realize why Shankaracharya sings. First thing, in order to show that he is the Atman, he sings Mano Buddhya Hankara Chittani Naham. I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am not the ego, I am not the memory. Nacha Shrotra Jibhe, Nacha Ghrana Netre. I am not the five senses, the sense powers. It's all subtle bodies, negating subtle body. Natejo Navayu, Nacha Vyoma Bhumi, Natejo Navayu. I am not space, fire, earth, water, air. So when he says that, he is negating the physical body out of which those are made, and the cactus and the mountains. I am none of this. Then what am I? Chidananda Rupa Shivo. You can explain the whole thing, Chidananda Rupa Shiva, the entire Nirvana Shataka, the 6 stanzas on Nirvana, using this diagram. Let's move ahead. Number 9. Sakshi Sarvanvita Preyan. Sakshi Sarvanvita Preyan. Aham Naham Kadachana. Aham Naham Kadachana. Parinama Paricheda. Parinama Paricheda. Paritaperupaplavat. I am the witness, all-pervading and beloved, never the limited I, afflicted as it is with change, limitation and suffering. Now he's going to do some very subtle analysis. We raise this question. Alright, I get it. But this I am, isn't it the ego? All the time we are well acquainted with the ego. We always say I am standing here, I am talking to you, I am thinking, I enjoy, I suffer, and this I is constant all the time. You said I am, the constant I am. Well, this is it, the ego is constant all the time. So aren't you talking about the ego? How am I not the ego? You are saying, I am the self, existence, consciousness, place, but we know the self. The self is the ego, the one which says I. You are not the I. You are the witness of the I. That has to be shown. So now he says, then, Na aham kadachana. Aham naham kadachana. I am never I. I am never the I. The real I am never this ego. Shankaracharya says the same thing, the first line of the 6 stanzas of Nirvana. Notice it slips by because we chant it nicely, we don't notice what a contradictory thing he says, what a crazy thing he says. He says, Mano Buddhi Ahankara Chittani Naham. I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am not the memory. I am not the I. It's contradictory. Ahankara Naham. I am not the I. I am not I. What does it mean? Ahankara and Aham are different. I, the real I, is this. And Ahankara is this. Ahankara, the word Sanskrit word Ahankara is very interesting. Ego maker. That which generates a sense of I and which appropriates things to itself. See, all this is in Vedanta Sara. What's the function of this thought I? What's the function of memory? It keeps traces of the past. What's the function of intellect? To understand. What's the function of mind? To consider things and to generate feelings, opinions, all of that. When you take a decision, it's intellect. It's all the same instrument, the mind, the subtle body. But the mind considers this and that, and then the intellect decides. Intellect gets it. See, it's very easy to understand when you're considering, you're trying to solve a math problem. You're thinking about it. You're thinking very seriously about it. But when you get it, you have this aha moment. I got it. That's the intellect. It's the same thing, the same mind, intellect, the same instrument, the two functions. When it solidifies into a flash of understanding, it's intellect. So it says, I'm not the intellect, I'm not the mind, I'm not the memory. But this ego, what's the function of the ego? Vedanta Sara defines it as Abhimanatmika Karna Vritti. That modification of the inner instrument. What's the inner instrument? This one. Mind, intellect, memory and ego. Manabuddhi Chitta Ahankara. That's the inner instrument. Why inner instrument? Because eyes, nose, tongue, they're all external instruments. They contact the external world. The inner instrument is an internal processing. The ego or an intellect or all of this doesn't jump out of the body to go and contact the cactus or the mountain. The cactus or the mountain are contacted by the eye, or if you prick your finger on the thorn of the cactus, by the skin. But the mind is the inner instrument. Now these are all functions of the inner instrument. The ego is a function of the inner instrument. What does it do? What purpose does it serve? It serves a very important purpose. Abhimanatmika Antakarana Vritti. It is the appropriating function. Appropriating function. What is appropriating function? Whatever goes on here, this is the field of ego. Whatever is going on here, the ego says I. It integrates all of it into a single entity. Thinking is going on, feeling is going on, eating is going on, walking and talking are going on. These are all various activities, various processes. They are biologically very different. But why do you feel I am the same one who is eating and talking and thinking and feeling? I am the same one. What is that? That's ego. The appropriating function which integrates everything, all of this into one person. It unifies, and it appropriates means claims. It claims everything that's going on in this body and mind as I, which is a ghost by itself. Ego does not talk. To talk, you need the tongue, the vocal instrument, there's a whole nervous system, the mechanism in the brain which enables speech. At no place will you find ego. The fellow does nothing, but he claims all the work for himself as CEO. He claims, I am the one who's talking. No, you're not. The tongue is talking. I am the one who's walking. No, you're not. The body is walking. But I, ego, and it's an important function. Otherwise, you would not feel like a single entity. So, ego does that. And in the ego is reflected consciousness. So, the ego is not just a thought. Like any other thought, especially the ego, it shines with consciousness. Right now, just look at it. I, just say I, where? It's always shining with consciousness. Whose consciousness? Your consciousness. You are the consciousness reflected in the ego. The ego is a mirror. And the face in the mirror is reflected consciousness. The real face, you the real consciousness. One way of attaining enlightenment is to focus on the I thought and turn inwards. To whom is this I thought appearing? Let's do this exercise. It's not in Advaita Makarandam, but something that was suggested by a Vedantic psychologist in New York, Greg Good. He said, this is a way to locate yourself. Where am I physically in this body? So just sit relaxed and sit straight if you like, not rigid. But keep your eyes open. Just look at me. Now the question is, where do you feel yourself most evidently? You might say the whole body, yes, but where in the body? Now draw a line mentally at your waist, horizontal to the ground, like above and below. Like I ask you, where would, if you were pressed for a choice, where would you locate yourself? Where are you exactly in this body? Above the waist or below?
Above.
Some of you are not sure. Are you in your ankle? Are you in your knee? No, you can feel them, but you don't feel located in the knees or the ankle. Where do you feel? Psychological thing I'm asking. Where do you feel located? Above. Alright, now look at this. Draw another line mentally through the chest parallel to the ground. So above the chest or below the chest?
Above.
Most of you now above the chest. Some might feel I am in the tummy, but most people feel I am above the chest. Alright. Now go further, push further. Suppose you draw a line here through the neck. Above, am I here or here? Many people feel I am here. They point to I. But above the neck or below the neck?
Above.
Most will feel, some they might feel here, that's also alright. Some will feel here. It's very natural. I mean, you might ask biologically, why do I feel I am here? It's very natural. Imagine the nerve endings in the face and our sensory organs, the ears, the nose, the tongue, and the eyes, and the sensitive skin of the face and all. So we have very lot of receptors are here. So it's very natural to sort of feel here, somewhere here. Alright, in the head, now do this. 2 lines, one like this to the head, trifurcating the head, one like this. This part of the head, this part of the head, and central part of the head. Am I here somewhere, or here somewhere, or here somewhere? Just feel it. It's important to feel it. Central part of the head. Maybe somewhere behind the eyes. Maybe just a little bit above or behind the eyes. So alright, now concentrate. You can close the eyes if you like. So I feel most comfortably, if you want to force me to say where exactly am I, the eye feeling is there somewhere behind the eyes. You've really located it in a small space now. Somewhere behind us. Now stay there. I am here. I. Now that is also an experience. I am here. To whom or what is this appearing? To what is this I feeling behind the eyes appearing? Gently open your eyes. Did you get the sense of the question? We think I am I. This is I am. This is who I am. This exercise is meant to show you even that's an experience. Appearing to something else. You can experience, just as you experience the body as this, you can also experience the ego as this here, this thing, right behind my eyes. That, appearing to what? Don't give an answer. You will never locate this because you are the locator of everything. To you is appearing all of this, including this, right behind the eyes. I don't, you have a question? You feel outside, alright. You feel outside floating. You feel it, right? Yeah. So in the meditation, you feel you're larger, you lose sort of this rootedness in the body, you feel you are larger. Alright. The question Vedanta wants to ask is, to whom is this feeling coming? Whether the eye is located here, or there, or here, or in my knees, what we want to ask is, notice, if it's located, it's being experienced, you can always say, this. Here it is. Earlier the eye was here, now in meditation the eye is there, somewhere hovering over there. But who is the one who is seeing this? That's the question. What is this meant to prove? You are not the I. You are not the ego. I means this ego. You are not the ego. It's also an experience. It's an object. It's a thought. Now, what does he say? I am not I, ever. Why? Because of 3 reasons. Sakshi Sarvanvita Preya. The ego is Parinam. Ego is subject to change. It comes and goes. It comes and goes. In deep sleep, no ego. In moments of deep concentration, suppose you're playing the tabla or some musical instrument. If you think, I am playing nicely today, you will miss a beat. In any kind of flow experience, if you bring the ego into it, you break the flow. Sports, martial arts, singing, any kind of high concentration. Somebody is doing a delicate surgery, painting, or something which requires high concentration. Then all your mental capacities are poured into your mind or intellect wherever you are doing the work, and there is nothing, no bandwidth left over for it to generate ego, and it's not necessary at that time. If you bring in ego, your performance will deteriorate. Ego comes and goes. Somebody said that generally they are not even aware of the ego. When you look inside only, then you feel ego. But when somebody pokes you, hurts you, annoys you, you feel ego. It's like the light in the refrigerator. It's on when you open the door. Is the light in the refrigerator on when you close the door? You don't know. Yes, it's generated mechanically. Is it a mechanical response to system? Yes, it's generated mechanically. Which one? You speak up, I can't hear you. Right. If you have separate thoughts going on while you are playing, then you are not playing with full concentration. I am saying that the argument here is very simple. Sometimes the I thought does not appear, that's all. Even when you are conscious in your day-to-day life, it's going around. It doesn't appear. Not that the ego is not there, but it's not explicit. It fades into the background. So, Sakshi is always there. So when you are playing intensely, you are not even thinking of yourself at all. Are you conscious or not? You are there, you are conscious. That shows you that consciousness is not a thought. The I is a thought. Your surgeon is doing a delicate surgery, brain science, brain surgery. Full concentration, not even thinking I am doing the surgery, how am I doing? I have to do these other things after that. If he does that, you will be in danger. But at that point, when he's doing surgery and not even thinking of himself at all, is he conscious or not conscious? Very conscious. The mind is, consciousness is constant, mind is very sattvic, very focused. If he's not conscious, you are in trouble. So, Sakshi is always there. The I is Parinami, changing. So then Sakshi, consciousness, or witness consciousness, cannot be the I. One reason. Second reason, Sarvapriyananda, and this one is Paricheda. Consciousness is common to waking state, consciousness is common to dream state, consciousness is common to deep sleep state. But the I is different for each. The I of the waking is here, is attending a class in the casa. We are studying Vedanta, that's the I in the waking state. I'm sitting here. And then, as it happens in Vedanta classes, slowly you doze off. And then there's another I which comes up, which is maybe, on a flight back home. And you're imagining the plane, sitting in the plane, flying 30,000 feet in the... Where is that I? It's 30,000 feet in the air, in that body, flying back to a home. Huh? Castles in the sky. So that I is different from this I. This ego is now subdued, it's fallen asleep. That ego has come up in a different circumstance altogether. It's not the same ego. But if you're asked to describe yourself, you would say, oh, I am asleep. And that ego would say, I am flying in the air to back home. So the ego of the waking state is different. The ego of the dream state is different. And the ego of the deep sleep, there's no ego functioning there, it's in dormant. There are three names for it in Mandukya Upanishad. The ego in the waking state is called Vishwa. The ego in the dream state is called Taijasa. And the dormant ego, which is implied, it's not actually functional. In deep sleep, it's called Pratya. So they are all separate from each other. but it's the same consciousness which illumines the waking, the dream and the deep sleep. That's what enables you after waking up to say that I was awake, I fell asleep, I dreamt, now I am awake. But this I, which is the waking I, was not in the dream, and certainly was not there in deep sleep. What allows it to say waking, dreaming, deep sleep are all mine? That's one of those cracks in the fabric of reality, a fabric of our samsara, which point towards pure consciousness. These are faults, programming faults, which shows you this is an illusion. What's the fault? It's a very subtle point. After waking up, we claim, I slept very well. But that I is claims, I slept very well, that I was not there in deep sleep. The I had fallen asleep. Then how can it say I slept very well? Who noted that I sleeping very well? Not the I, it had fallen asleep. So the consciousness is different from the I. The I is limited, paricheda. The consciousness is not limited. Sarvanvita. It runs in and through waking, dreaming, deep sleep. It's constant. Then third, prayan. This consciousness is always beloved. It is the sense of I, which is the source of, remember, continuous pleasure and maximum pleasure, continuous joy and maximum joy. We did that argument earlier. But the ego right now, it says, paritape yuvaplavat, is swept by sorrow and suffering. Has many problems. You sit down and note down your problems. There is a health problem, insurance problem, financial problem, relationship problem, weather problem, societal problem, environmental problem, political problem. So many problems. Is overwhelmed, swept by problems. Paritape, by suffering, upaplava, overcome, overwhelmed, swept away by the various kinds of sorrows. Which one? Ego. It owns those sorrows. And the consciousness itself, by itself, no problem at all. You might say, no, but the sorrows are there, revealed by the same consciousness. Yes, but asangoham, the consciousness is not touched by the appearance of the sorrows. When the sorrows disappear and dreams disappear and deep sleep comes, consciousness remains the same all throughout. The ego is buffeted. Things are going well now. Then after some time the ego will say, not so good at all. Ego says that. The ego feels affected by all of this. So because of three reasons, consciousness is not the ego. Consciousness, the witness consciousness, because it's the witness, the ego is constantly involved and changing. Because it is not limited, it's there in all three states, the ego changes from state to state. Waking ego is different from dream ego, and in deep sleep ego shuts down, falls asleep. And the third is, consciousness is ever blessed, ego is ever cursed. Luckily you are not the ego. Right now we identify with the ego, that's why we think, oh, problem. You just think of the mirror and the reflected face. The reflected face is affected by everything that happens to the mirror. By the dirt on the mirror, by the shaking on the mirror, by the cracks on the mirror. All the time your real face? Yes.
Does the world only appear in view of the ego?
Yes. If that argument will be used by Lakshmidhara Kavi. When the ego appears, the ego's world appears. This is actually what the emptiness school of Tibetan Buddhism, of Madhyamaka Buddhism. When they say, oh, consciousness and the world, they appear together and disappear together, they mean this ego consciousness. It appears and disappears together. Appears to whom and disappears to whom? Alright. Then we move on. Oh, time for lunch. This was a short session. Number 10. Swami Antarupanji has given a long section here. Please read it when you can. Now what will he do? He will keep on working at this distinction between the ego and consciousness, but he will do so using waking, dreaming, deep sleep. The three states are waking, dreaming, deep sleep. he will carefully separate you from the consciousness, from the ego. You pull the consciousness out of the folds of the ego. This is something used in Kathopanishad. They say, Munjadi Vaishika. There is a grass called Munja grass. And there is a blade in between, grass in between the stalks. And you have to carefully pull it out because it's sharp. You might even cut your finger on that. So you have to carefully extract it from between from the stalk. This is an example. You don't have to extract the consciousness from the ego. But in one's understanding, and that also I have to be careful. When I say understanding, I don't mean it's an intellectual exercise. It's a real thing right now. Just to discern it in your understanding that you are ever free of this body, mind, ego complex. That's all. So you will use the 3 states next. That's part of the evening. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu